Doing good. We're excited to get back out there, to go play. I know we had the opportunity to get a little rest this weekend. For our guys, opportunity to kind of step away from the game and a little bit of personal time, go home, see family, and relax. Same for the coaches, to get an opportunity to get a quick breather. But obviously, I think with this week being a short week, the preparation was a little different than other bye weeks in the past, and I think our guys have handled it really well. We practiced last night with what was our Tuesday practice, and then we got a Wednesday practice today. And I like the attitude, our approach our guys took. They were taking the field last night, came out a lot of energy, a lot of juice, and picked up right where we left off with Thursday as the last practice we had as a Monday practice for this game week. So we've got a huge challenge, obviously, with this playing a team like Missouri with one of the best, if not statistically speaking, really the best defense in the Southeastern Conference. Playing on the road in a tough environment. We haven't been up there before. It's going to be a huge challenge for us, and we're going to have to go out and execute and play at an extremely high level.
Questions?
Just kind of discuss what they've been able to do with their defense, especially the defensive line the past few years.
They play hard, I mean, they got explosive pass rushers off the edge. They have really big physical guys inside on the defensive line. So I mean, they create havoc outside with athleticism and the size inside, and they can rush the passer, they can stop the run, all with that defensive line. And I think that's one of the things that makes them a pretty darn good defense is the talent they have on the defensive line.
You mentioned it a little bit. It's a short week and things. Just talk about logistically how it is preparing for a Thursday night game as opposed to a Saturday game.
Well, I mean, you just got to get your calendar set differently. Really, the game day one is the biggest difference, because I mean, you wake up and a lot of times you're on Saturday and you're kind of in a football mode on Saturday. There's other games, especially playing really late at night like you're playing. You're around the hotel all day and you're watching other games, or you're watching College Game Day or whatever it is, or the SC Nation show in the morning, and kind of getting yourself ready for some football when you're not walking through and doing all your prep time. And I guess, I don't know, Thursday we watch like Days of Our Lives or something like that. Is that on? Is that still on? Or?
Yeah, it's still going.
I don't know that you should have jumped up and admitted that.
I don't watch it personally. It's on my DVR.
So you've heard.
It's on my DVR.
I think that mindset is you got to really kind of be locked in and focused. That's something that's a little different while you're waiting around the hotel all day on Thursday.
When you look at Logan Cook's progression, do you think that it really helped him last year, kind of having to burn his red shirt about 4 games in, and him getting that experience for this year?
Well, I think it's a lot more comfortable for him being out there. I mean, and how he had to get forced into a game about 5 minutes before kickoff. When it happened, he never really got to be nervous for a game. He played in the game without ever getting nervous for it. And so I think when you look at him back there, he's a guy that's a much more veteran player right now and has a lot of different game experiences.
Talking to a couple of offensive linemen last week, they both said the same thing, that the last couple of games they felt loose out there. They played relaxed, not worrying about having mistakes. Have you kind of seen the same thing with their progression, having fun again?
Well, yeah, we tell all our guys you want to have fun while you're out there. And I know, everybody wants to play hard. Everyone wants to play their best. And it's finding that balance of, not just the line at every position. It's finding that balance of being comfortable in what you're doing on the field, knowing your assignment, knowing your technique, and being able to do it as hard as you possibly can. And within the program, guys are to me are invested in the program. And they're very accountable to their teammates. And so when you have that, guys want to do the right thing, not just for themselves, but for their teammates. And they got to learn to relax and have fun while they're out there doing it, and trust in what they've put in, trust in all the work they've put in during the week, training camp, off season, and throughout their career to prepare for those game moments.
How much does Missouri not having Matty Mock at quarterback change things, or maybe some stuff that you prepared last week?
Not a whole lot, really. They've been playing the other kid for a couple weeks now. And they're going to run their system. They're going to do what they do. It's not like they've completely changed who they are. at the quarterback position, you know, when they went to the young freshman.
I know you've talked about teams like to, as the season goes on, kind of build an identity and stuff like that. Do you think during this 3-game winning streak that this team feels pretty comfortable in what it is right now with Dak throwing it around and just the different things that you know your strengths and weaknesses?
Well, I do. I think the team's coming together, and I think one thing the guys, especially when you have a lot of younger players, they're realizing we're hopefully getting better as the season goes on. And you want to continue to do that. You know, we want to peak at the end of the season, not at the beginning or in the middle. And so I think our guys have really bought into that, and you know, they really pay close attention to how they can improve themselves and how we improve as a team from one week to the next. And I do. I think that you know, schematically, I think we've kind of settled into where we're playing well, what we're doing well, and how to execute that at a high level.
Oh, how much did it help having the bye week ahead of the Thursday night game, and what's the positive of having that heading into next week too?
I don't know. I guess having the bye week before a Thursday game helps because,
Right.
you know, I mean, you'd be sitting there off a short week. If you play Saturday, you know, you come back in Sunday to kind of review that game. Monday, Tuesday to practice. You're traveling Wednesday, playing Thursday. That's we've done that a bunch before in the past throughout my coaching career. You know, but to me, I mean, it's both teams kind of going through the same deal. You know, if one of us played Saturday, I think then it's a different advantage, disadvantage. And since both teams are the same way, I don't know that it really has a whole lot different. You know, and then afterwards, I don't know. I mean, I guess you get an extra, you know, 48 hours of rest, maybe. You know, 36 to 48 hours of rest on the physical wear and tear on your body.
I'm sure you've seen or at least heard the Georgia State or Georgia Tech, Florida State ending, and then the Miami Duke ending from last week and everything. Crazy special teams plays like that. Do you practice those, or do you file that under stuff happens? Like, how do you prepare for moments like that? Or do
Well, I
you?
think you practice those situations, but you know, I mean, I don't know, it's like a weird, it's a weird deal to practice to get however many laterals that you get. I mean, you practice it, you know, and you go through it, but you know, you can't mimic the exact situations that they go through. But you know, you talk about all those situations, and I think as coaches, you know, everybody look at those, whether it was the, you know, the Michigan State deal, or the Georgia Tech Florida State deal, Auburn Alabama from a couple of years ago. Any of those, I think in coaches, you always look at those situations. You know, if I'm home, I'm always wondering, okay, this is what I would be thinking about doing in this particular situation. And that always crosses my mind, which I guess is healthy, because I'm thinking about, you know, I don't want. It's easy to second guess. It's easy to watch and then say, oh, you should have done this, and maybe gotten a different result. But I think as a coach, you want to try to first guess yourself as I'm watching. Say, okay, what would I do right now in this situation? Then you watch how it happens, and then you got to think about what was the best result. And any of those things, even if you get to watch it on highlights, what would fit our team the best? Are we putting guys in the best position to be successful in having our best players out there, giving us an opportunity to win the game? What's the best way to get our guys on the field to give us the best opportunity to win the game?
You talked about in the past the Saturday to Thursday games. When you've dealt with those situations, is the 5 days in between, how does it affect the players physically? Is it enough time to turn around, especially this late in the season when you're in November and everyone's kind of bruised and banged up? Is it enough time for a player to turn around?
I mean, you know, the one thing, I guess, later in the season, having a shorter week, is you kind of know what you're doing. Like you said, you've gained your identity as a team. You're going to be pretty simple within your plan that week, because you know your practice reps are going to be extremely limited when that sort of stuff happens, and you're going to kind of go to what you do well. I think the Egg Bowl, we had that a couple of years ago on a real short week. You know, and I mean, we were really banged up that time of year, but you know, ended up being okay for us, and got Dak, I know, was able to get in and play that game. where, you know, might have had, think maybe if we had more rest, it would have been more likely, but I think scheduling is what it is, and, you know, guys are gonna be ready to play when game time comes, whether it's on 1-day rest, or 5-day rest, or 7-day rest, or 14-day rest.
It's been a while since Missouri scored a touchdown. When you look at them on film, can you identify kind of what some of their problems have been offensively?
Well, I think, one, they're playing a true freshman quarterback, and to me, the one thing that's jumped out to me is, you know, they've just missed some throws here. You know, I mean, it's not like they're not playing well. I mean, they're inches away from putting up a lot of big numbers and a lot of big plays. I know that, you know, watching them in their last game, you know, against Vanderbilt, they got guys open and a little bit of pressure, and he just overthrows them. And I mean, and I'm talking about 3 or 4 different times that would have been 60, 70-yard plays. So, I don't think, you know, when you watch sometimes as a coach, you can say, okay, the end result is this, you put up the panic flag, but as you're watching the film, they say, we're not very far off from where we need to be, and I'm sure that's how they're looking at it.
I think it's been 5 years since Nick Bell passed. What kind of lasting impression has he had on the program?
Well, I think for everybody, I know, you know, a lot of the guys that remember him, and anytime you play with somebody within your program, and you lose a teammate, I think it's really hard on the young guys. It's something you always remember, and is always going to stick with you as you know, you lose a family member way too soon in life. I know for me as a coach, but you know, it's I hope I never have to deal with anything that hard in my career again. You know, because I don't think that I've ever had to deal with anything even close to that in my career as a football coach. When you lose a family member like that, it is, you know, it's just a devastating thing. Everybody in the program, and I know it, I mean, it made a lasting impression on me and our coaches and the players within the program. And, you know, I think now, and looking back on it, with a lot of the young guys, you know, they know of him, but don't know him, but the guys who played with him, that's something that'll stick with you forever.
When you have the offense rolling like it is and everyone's kind of on the same page, how do you go about getting a guy like Gabe Miles back into the flow of things and getting him working him back in?
Well, I think the one thing that you've seen we've been able to do offensively is we don't really kind of hone in on one guy. We kind of do take what the defense gives you. So as he comes rolling, and we've rolled a lot of different players through. You know, so as he comes rolling back in, we just expect him to get back in the flow. And I think for, especially when you have an older quarterback like Dak that's going to be comfortable with where guys are and different guys on the field, I think it's just one more weapon that's brought to the table for us. More than, boy, that we have to try to find a way to get this guy in the offense right now. I think we're going to, you know, we run the offense, and you watch Dak, he's going to take what they give him. And, you know, and I think, you know, it's great for us that that's one more guy out there on the field that can make things happen.
Short week. Thank you.